Welcome to Lesson 2 of Unlock Your Lettering, Let's Get Fancy. Today we're going to be talking about how to create the look of calligraphy. Now, throughout time, calligraphy traditionally has been created using a dip pen and ink. Nowadays, there are many ways to create calligraphy. You can also use a brush pen or any old writing utensil in the book when you create faux calligraphy, and I'm going to show you just how to do that. So why use one over the other? It's kind of up to you. I think once you know how to use them all, you can just pick and choose. Sometimes I choose to do faux calligraphy depending on what I'm using, and sometimes I choose to use brush calligraphy because I know it's going to be faster or I'm going to like the look of it. So it really just depends on what you like. I really recommend that beginners start with faux calligraphy, and I'm going to tell you why. We're going to get down onto the paper, and I want you to do it with me, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the differences here. We've got lettering written right here and calligraphy written here. The difference is that this was written with a single line and that this has variations in the strokes. There's thick parts and thin parts to each of these letters. And that is what is so beautiful. It's a little fancy. We're getting fancy today. And it just adds a lot of variation and interest to this. So traditionally, calligraphy with a dip pen and ink, you would use pressure, heavy pressure coming down, light pressure going up, to automatically and naturally create the differences in the thicknesses of these strokes. And I used a brush pen to create this. So with a brush pen, you also change the pressure. Light pressure going up, heavy pressure coming down. Anytime you're creating different letters, you use how much pressure, how much you're pushing on the pen to change the thickness of the stroke, and it creates calligraphy or brush calligraphy. So now the question is, what if I have a pen that is one line? Even though I might push harder or not as hard, it's still that single line. This is where faux calligraphy comes in. So what I would do first is write this word with a single line, since that's all this marker can do. And don't worry, I know some of this doesn't look quite right, but it's going to get covered up. So what I want to make sure I do is I leave these big enough that I have room to come back and thicken the downstrokes. So since this pen, I can't use pressure to naturally create those thick and thin strokes, I'm going to come back and manually add them in myself. So I'm thickening anytime my hand is coming down. So this is a really great thing to learn because you can use it with markers like this, with colored pencils, with crayons, with chalk. No matter what writing utensil you have, you can create faux calligraphy. And I really think it is the best way for beginners to learn because it is so much easier to control this pen than to control this pen. It's just, you have to really master the pressure on this. Believe me, when I first got brush pens, I almost threw them in the trash because they were so challenging for me. I finally mastered them, but I really think that learning faux calligraphy is a great way to get started. And I think that it's a tool that you're going to continue to use. After that, you can come back and use this brush pen. So in our Ultimate Lettering Bundle, we have both Introduction to Faux Calligraphy, which includes a lot of other things like how to make connections, dancing baseline, and flourishing. And then we also have Beginning with Brush Pens, which really helps you master how to use the brush pen so that you don't get frustrated and so you can create beautiful brush calligraphy that you're just gonna love. So there you have it. I'm going to give you a little worksheet to practice your A's with both brush pens if you'd like to, and definitely faux calligraphy that you can use any marker. I love using Super Tips markers from Crayola. This is a metallic marker from Crayola. You can use anything you've got, a Sharpie, to do those practice sheets and just kind of get a feel for doing faux calligraphy. I'm so excited. I will see you next time.